Hello from Kingfisher, Oklahoma. Today we're looking at 2 Chronicles 11 and 12. Well, we're going to start churning through the kings. We got through David, we got through Solomon, and those kind of have some length to them. But now we're going to start seeing more kings come through. We've got Reheboam, the son of Solomon, and he's king over Judah, having Jeroboam taken with him parts of Israel, most of Israel. Rehoboam is left with the kingdom of Judah. And Rehoboam's upset about this. It's kind of his own fault because he had wisdom and he didn't follow it. And so the kingdom split apart. And that really is due to the sin of Solomon as kind of a punishment there. But Rehoboam decides, I'm going to go fight against Israel and get those people back. But God intervenes right away and says, no, we're not going to do that this time. They do eventually have a few fights back and forth, but neither really conquers the other. So instead, Rehoboam decides he's going to fortify Judah, and he kind of solidifies his strength in Judah. He receives a bunch of Levites and priests because Jeroboam sets up 2 golden calves to worship. If you went through the book of Kings with us, the books of Kings, you may remember that he did that. So Rehoboam kind of solidifies some of the tribes, solidifies the cities. He's feeling good. For 3 years while he's doing this, things are going well. He's following God. But you don't get overall points for the 3 years you served God. You've got to continue to serve God, which he doesn't do. So once he kind of solidifies his kingdom, he forsakes God. And consequence, God allows Egypt to come up and start fighting against Judah. And God sends a prophet to talk to him, says, look, you're doing the wrong thing. You're going to get conquered. It's judgment. The people humble themselves and they pray that God will save them. And God does. He recognizes humility and then says, Jerusalem's not going to be destroyed, but he does allow it to be plundered as a punishment. So Egypt comes in and plunders Jerusalem, but leaves the people there. But what does get plundered? The wealth of Rehoboam. The temple gets plundered. The gold shields that Solomon made are taken away. And all that leaves. Rehoboam replaces it with brass, but it's kind of everybody who was alive would know, well, it's only second best. We used to have the gold shields there. So he kind of gets not a great grade as a king because he does evil. And that's how it goes. But once again, here we are just focused on kingdom of Judah, the straight line of descendants of David. David, Solomon, Rehoboam. And then we see that when Rehoboam finally passes away after 17 years ruling, he hands it over to his son Ahijah. So looks like that's what we're following. So let's jump right into it. Thanks for getting into it today. I'm pretty excited about doing this. So, 1 Chronicles chapter 11. Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem and gathered house of Judah and Benjamin 180,000 chosen men, which were warriors to fight against Israel, that he might bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam. But the word of the Lord said to Shemaiah, the man of God, saying, Speak to Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and to all Israel and Judah and Benjamin, saying, Thus saith the Lord, You shall not go up, nor fight against your brethren. Return every man to his house, for this thing is done of me. And they obeyed the words of the Lord, and returned from going against Jeroboam. Then Rehoboam dwelt in Jerusalem, and built cities for defense in Judah. He built Bethlehem, an important city of David, Etam, Tekoa, Beth-zur, Shoko, and Adullam, and Gath, and Mareshah, and Ziph, and Adoraim, and Lachish, and Ezekah, and Zorah, and Ajalon, and Hebron, which were in Judah and in Benjamin, fenced cities. And he fortified the strongholds, and put captains in them, a store of victuals, and of oil and wine. And every several city he put shields and spears, and made them exceedingly strong, having Judah and Benjamin on his side. The priests of the Levites that were in Israel resorted to him out of all their coast. For the Levites left their suburbs and their possessions and came to Judah and Jerusalem. For Jeroboam and his sons had cast them off from executing the priest office of the Lord. So Jeroboam's kicked him out of Israel, so they come over to Judah. And he ordained priests for the high places, and for the devils, and for the calves which he made. So they're starting to worship false gods over there in Israel, so the priests leave. And after them, out of all the tribes of Israel, such as set their hearts to seek the Lord God of Israel, came to Jerusalem to sacrifice unto the God their fathers. So they strengthened the kingdom of Judah, and made Rehoboam the son of Solomon strong. 3 years. For 3 years they walked in the way of David and Solomon. And Rehoboam took him Mahalath, daughter of Jeremoth, the son of David, to wife, and Abihail, the daughter of Eliab, the son of Jesse, which bare him children, Jeush, and Shemariah, and Zaham. And after her he took Maacah, the daughter of Absalom, which bare him Abijah, and Attai, and Ziza, and Shelemith. And Rehoboam loved Maacah, the daughter of Absalom, above all wives, and his concubines. For he took 18 wives, and 80 concubines, and begat 28 sons, and 80 daughters. And Rehoboam made Abijah, the son of Maacah, the chief, to be ruler among his brethren, and he thought to make him king. And he dealt wisely, and dispersed all his children throughout all the countries of Judah and Benjamin, until every fenced city, and he gave them victuals in abundance, and he desired many wives. So he marries a couple of his cousins, or close relatives, or whatever, but not too close. Anyway, he kind of multiplies wives there. So things seem to be going really well, but the turn always comes with, are you going to follow God or not? Chapter 12. It came to pass, when Rehoboam had established the kingdom and strengthened himself, he forsook the law of the Lord, and Israel with him. And it came to pass that in the 5th year of King Rehoboam, Shishak, the king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem, because they had transgressed against the Lord, with 1,200 chariots, and 70,000 horsemen, and people without number came to him out of Egypt, the Lubim and the Sukkim and the Ethiopians. So a lot of people from Africa are coming up to fight against it. And he took the fenced cities which pertained to Judah, and came to Jerusalem. Then Shemaiah the prophet to Rehoboam and to the princes of Judah were gathered together to Jerusalem because of Shishak, and said unto them, Thus saith the Lord, Ye forsaken me, and therefore I have also left you in the hand of Shishak. So that's the pronunciation of judgment. You left God, and now he's here to pronounce judgment. Whereupon the princes of Israel and the king humbled themselves, and they said, The Lord is righteous. And when the Lord saw that they humbled themselves, the word of the Lord came to Shemaiah, saying, They've humbled themselves, therefore I will not destroy them, but I will grant them some deliverance. And my wrath shall not be poured out upon Jerusalem by the hand of Shishak. Nevertheless, they shall be his servants, and they will know my service, and the service of the kingdoms of the countries. You remember Solomon prayed that if people humbled themselves, that God would forgive them and heal their land. That's exactly what happens. Same in our life. If we would humble ourselves, seek God's face, turn from our wicked ways, he wants to heal your life. But you've got to do all those things. And most people are too proud or enjoying the sin too much to turn away. So Shishak, king of Egypt, came against Jerusalem, took away the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king's house. He took all. He carried away all the shields of gold which Solomon had made, instead of which King Rehoboam made shields of brass, and committed them to the hands of the chief of guard that kept the entrance to the king's house. And when the king entered into the house of the Lord, the guard came and fetched them, and brought them out into the guard chamber. And when he humbled himself, the wrath of the Lord turned away, and he could not destroy him altogether. And also in Judah things went well. So King Rehoboam strengthened himself in Jerusalem and reigned. For Rehoboam was 41 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 17 years in Jerusalem, the city which the Lord had chosen out of all the tribes of Israel to put his name there. His mother's name was Naamah the Ammonitess, and he did evil because he prepared not his heart to seek the Lord. So all in all, he gets a bad grade because he didn't follow God. Now the acts of Rehoboam, first and last, are they not written in the book of Shemaiah the prophet, and of Iddo the seer concerning genealogies? And there were wars between Rehoboam and Jeroboam continually. Rehoboam slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David, and Abijah, his son, reigned in his stead. There you go. Pretty simple, straightforward lesson that seems to be the continuing narrative through the Old Testament. You follow God, He's going to work with you, He's going to bless you, you're going to be rewarded. It's not always monetary. Sometimes it is. But when you don't follow God, you get judgment, you get discipline. So, hey, if you ever feel like you're being disciplined in life, that's the first thing you want to check. How's my relationship with God? Now, sometimes bad things happen. Look at Job. Sometimes bad things happen, and it isn't because of where you are with God. But it's always a great place to check. What in my life is keeping me from having a great relationship with God? All right. Thanks for joining us this time, and I look forward to plunging in farther into 2 Chronicles. We'll catch you next time.